Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Well, hi everybody, Ezra Levant here. How you doing? It's great to be back with you as I am Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12 noon, the other days of the week. My allies at Rebel News, Sheila Gunn Reid and David Menzies, sometimes other guests like Andrew Chapados. So we love the daily live streams, and one of the things about the live streams over the last few weeks is that we've had to find other places to hang out after YouTube started messing around with us. I mean, we're a 6-year YouTube customer, verified. We got the $100,000 plaque, 100,000 subscriber plaque, then the million subscriber plaque. Right now, we're just shy of 1.5 million subscribers. We're really the largest independent news channel in Canada. Never a strike, never a problem. And then they suspended us and demonetized us, all on a political stitch-up. That was shocking and disrupting, but it was a kick in the pants in a good way, in that it forced us to seek out life after YouTube. Because I am convinced, though I regret it and will fight against it, I am convinced that they will ultimately just delete us for political reasons, not because our conduct is improper in any way. Thus, we stream on Odyssey, on Rumble, and there's a new channel out of Vancouver called superu.net, and we're having a few bumps in the road this week with them, but they're ironing that out because they're just literally brand new. It's like a little baby. Just a little bit. So Rumble is like a teenager, Odyssey is like a toddler, and superu is like a baby in terms of getting born, growing up to take on the YouTube Goliath. But we're there with the kids. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. I'm talking about Rumble, Odyssey, and superu. And I tell you all that because that process of being shocked and then saying, okay, I've been shot. Am I dead? Someone just shot at me. Am I dead? No, I'm not dead. Are you dead? No, you're not dead. Okay, neither of us are dead. Are we wounded? It's only a flesh wound. The bullet grazed you. Okay. So we're shocked. Get our wits together. Are we dead? No, we're not dead. We're a little injured, but not much. Okay, so now let's find a bulletproof vest. That's the template for how we survived YouTube. And you know what? PayPal just deplatformed us. I have been a personal customer of PayPal for more than a decade. In fact, now that I think about it, it goes back probably 15 years. I don't really use PayPal personally. I just don't in my personal account. But it's been a very important part of our business at Rebel News. In fact, for a while, it was our exclusive credit card processor. We've done nearly $9 million worth of transactions since we were born in 2015 on PayPal. We've paid over I'd have to check, over $100,000 in fees. I don't know if it's over $150,000. A lot of money in fees. We've had 152,000 transactions, if memory serves. I'll have to check those stats. I got a lot of numbers in my mind right now. So, 6-year customer at Rebel News, 10-year customer personally, 15-year customer personally, 6 years at Rebel News. Preferred customer, what do I mean by that? We do so much business, they give us preferred rates. For every time you make a PayPal donation or purchase, they take a little bit for the credit card fees, they take a little bit for their fees. That's how they make their money. Because most PayPal users are have a few $100 or maybe a few $1,000 in there. Well, we're doing 7 figures a year, so they say, "Ooh, you guys are special. We're going to treat you right. Going to show you a little love. Going to reduce the fees we charge. We're going to take good care of you, your preferred client." So 6 years, preferred client, 6 years. Not a single complaint from PayPal to us. 6 years, perfect. Preferred client. And then on Friday night at 6:02 p.m., after business hours, the night heading into the weekend, PayPal sends us an email. "Hey guys, sorry, but we're shutting you down because you violated a rule." Who violated which rule? What did we do? What rule? And we're not going to sign this letter, and we're not going to let you appeal, and we're not going to talk to you about it. And in addition to shutting down your Rebel News PayPal account, we're shutting down Ezra's personal account. We're shutting down the account for Fort Canada, which was our nonprofit that we used for fundraising for charities like the Fort McMurray Red Cross Relief. You're shutting them all down on a Friday night in a spam email with no name on it, no phone number, no appeal. That's what you do to a 6-year client, or personally, I'm more than a 10-year client. Now you may say, come on, Ezra, that doesn't sound right. Did that really happen? Well, I have taken that email. Can you pump it up? Can you pump up that? So that is the exact email I received. Dear Ezra Levant, that's me. We have recently reviewed your PayPal account activity. Okay, by the way, our account activity is people buy things from us or donate money to us. And determined that you are in violation of PayPal's acceptable use policy regarding your use of the PayPal products. What? Okay, we're going to go to the acceptable use policy in a moment. I'll just tell you what it says. I've read it. You can't sell knives. You can't sell guns. You can't sell drugs. You can't sell stolen merchandise. You can't have a Ponzi scheme. If you sell certain things like gambling or racetracks, you need special permission in advance. You can't do lotteries. You can't do games of chance. Games of skill need to be like, they have a lot of things. Do you hear what I'm, like I've listed about 10 things there, right? Does any of what I've just listed sound anywhere near what we do on Rebel News? You know, we're a news channel. We got journalists. We talk about the world and politics and current events. We give our opinion. What's that got to do with selling knives or other weapons? And they have this whole thing about you can't engage in Ponzi schemes. You can't, you know, have tricks. You can't impersonate, like all these like financial crimes. So they say you can't do all these violent things or criminal things like, obviously, but you can't do all these financially iffy things like, you know what a pyramid scheme is, right? Does any of that sound like anything remotely what we're doing? Hey, put it back up. I'll keep reading the letter from PayPal. So they didn't say which of their rules we broke, because we didn't break them. And they didn't say what we did. Like we have 30 people, we do a million things every day. As a result, your account has been permanently limited with no further ability to send or receive funds. Please remove all references to PayPal from your websites and or auctions. What auction? What are you talking about? This includes not only removing PayPal as a payment option, but also the PayPal logo and PayPal shopping cart. The PayPal user agreement states that PayPal reserves the right to limit an account for any violation of the PayPal user agreement, including the acceptable use policy. You can review the complete, and I did review it, I just gave you a summary of it, but we can look at it later maybe. You can also find some more information on the Help Center. So roll down a little bit, scroll down. So I did review this. If you have a remaining balance, you may withdraw the funds, information. We appreciate your cooperation. Sincerely, PayPal. That's it. That's the whole email. No appeal, no explanation of what we did that they didn't like, no particularization of what rule they allege we broke, no way to talk to them. This is out of the blue. This is no warning, no notice, no chance to remediate anything, no call. Like seriously, you do 152,000 transactions with a guy, nearly $9 million. You make him rich. We made him rich, them rich, PayPal. We made 6 figures worth of fees for them. We brought thousands of people into PayPal specifically to do business with us. I'm going to send you a court case. And I know people say, please no court cases. You're not going to do this to us again, are you? I want to show you, we're going to do some book learning here. Because I want to show you some Canadian case law on deplatforming. Oh, there's Canadian case law on deplatforming? You bet. That's why we're going to go through this together. My friends, in the next 10 minutes, you're going to learn more about how companies can or can't deplatform you in Canada than you've heard anywhere else. That's a problem. So now, Justin, I just sent you this court case. And you can see this is extremely recent. It's The ruling, okay, the court hearing was February 24th. Yeah, pump it up as big as you can. So this is a court case. And it was issued on February 26th. It was heard on February 24th. So very, very recent, right? March, April, like 2.5 months ago. And look at it, it's called RageOn, Inc. and Shopify. So RageOn was suing Shopify in the Superior Court of Justice. RageOn had a lawyer named Delegran, and Shopify had three lawyers. They were really going heavy duty. 3 lawyers. That's the thing, you take on a tech company, they got more lawyers than anybody. I'm going to read a little bit of this. RageOn, Inc. conducts an online business which allows third-party users to upload and offer for sale products such as clothing items bearing user-generated prints and designs. That's pretty clear, right? Do you want to go RageOn just to show people what that looks like? So that's sort of cool. It's not like they even come up with their own designs, but they might. They allow anyone to make a shirt, sounds like. Prints and designs. So yeah, look at that. Pretty lively. Oh, it says down for maintenance. Yeah, so nifties and stuff. They're into really, like that's pretty funny, that cat with the laser eyes. So these folks are really up to the minute in terms of, like I think they like cats, obviously. There's another cat with lightning eyes. I see some, is that a Buddhist statue? Like there's a cat sitting on pizza. There's like doves. I think you might need to embrace the drug culture to get the full benefit of RageOn. Anyhow, so now we know who RageOn is. Go back to the court case. So I'm going to read. Shopify has a policy, I'm reading, regarding acceptable use of its platform, which prohibits certain activities in connection with the use of its services, including prohibitions on using the services to promote or condone hate or violence or allowing content which is associated with terrorist organizations. Okay, so you can see the tension already. This is very dramatic, isn't it? Paragraph 1, who is RageOn? Paragraph 2, who is Shopify? We have a protagonist and an antagonist, don't we? RageOn just wants to rage on. I want to have lots of kitty cats with lightning and lasers in their eyes. And Shopify says, whoa, slow down there, Nelly. You know, you have to be acceptable. Okay, I feel the tension in the air. Beginning in October 2020, Shopify notified RageOn on several occasions that it found and removed content on RageOn's online store that promoted or condoned hatred or violence and that is associated with terrorist organizations. Shopify advised RageOn that such content violates Shopify's policy and that RageOn was required to remove such content from its site. So that was October. And you can see they notified them on several occasions. So they called them or emailed them once. They did it, like several means more than one. So let's say that means twice, maybe even more. In January 2020, so now we're talking November, December, 3 months later. So you've had 3 months of banter between the Shopify folks and the RageOn folks. 3 months. In Jan 2020, Shopify gave RageOn a final warning that content which violated its policy would not be tolerated on its platform and that any further violation would result in the immediate termination of RageOn's account. RageOn responded that it was committed to complying with Shopify's policy and it asked Shopify to assist it to do so. Okay, are you ready for this next paragraph, which I think is very interesting? After giving this final warning, Shopify again identified content which had not been removed from RageOn's site and which violated Shopify's policy against hateful content and content associated with terrorist organizations. On February 17th, so we're into February now. This has been going on October, November, December, January. We're 4 months in now. On February 17, 2021, Shopify gave written notice to RageOn that it was terminating its agreement with RageOn. So that's a lot of warnings, a lot of banter, and 4 months, right? So that's a lot of, we know from the judge's language that it was at least three communications. And then paragraph 6, RageOn brings this motion for an interim injunction directing Shopify to restore all rights and blah, 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 blah. And then paragraph 7, RageOn's motion is dismissed. So just to catch up here, and I am going to read a little bit more. So what is the salient part of this story so far? The judge told you RageOn is losing. That's for the following reasons, RageOn's motion is dismissed. So Shopify won this battle, but I'm going to get into this. What is the salient thing to take away from this? What's the saltiness? What's the character of it? That Shopify used its words. Hey guys, that t-shirt there, that's crazy. That's too much. Hey guys, can you deal with that one? Hey guys, several times, 1, 2, 3. Back and forth. Hey, can you do this? And RageOn says that, and Shopify said, there is 3-4 months of, I don't know if it was constructive. It sounds like Shopify wanted to fix it. 4 months they tried. May I contrast that with the case of Rebel News, where PayPal on a Friday night at 6:02 p.m. without giving me the contact information, any specificity, says, oh, you guys are done. 6-year contract, $8.5 million, whatever, dollars, $150,000+ in fees, 152,000 transactions. Haha, suckers, sucks to be you. You see you later. Oh, and also Ezra, your personal account, and For Canada, your nonprofit account, and all your accounts associated with you. We don't like the looks of you. Really? Is that how it works in the law-talking places? Let's read a little more. Now I'm going to skip down. I'm not going to read. So the judge does a really good, this judge is a clear writer. What's this judge's name? Justice Kavanaugh. You know, I just absolutely can't say enough good things about judges who speak clearly in plain English that no lawyers can misunderstand, and that makes the law accessible to lay people. Would you agree with me on that, Justin? What is the point? You know what? Show how smart you are, not by using $100 words that no one can understand. If you're so smart, express your complicated ideas in plain language so everyone can understand. Don't throw jargon around. I should take my own lesson. I like to drop the old piece of Latin just to show off. But I just told you the game there. I'm showing off. Judges' jobs aren't to show. We know you're smart. We know you know a little Latin. We know you're fancy pants. You're a judge. We got that part. Now can you explain clearly what the law is? And I think Justice Kavanaugh doing a good job. Let's keep going. So I'm scrolling down. Here we go. Let's look at paragraph 12. The terms of service require that RageOn agree with and accept all the terms. Okay. Section 3.2 of the agreement provides that RageOn shall be responsible for the content. All right. Section 7 of the agreement addresses its term and termination. So it's just going through the contract. Look at section 15. Shopify's terms of service, blah, 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 described as hateful content and terrorist organization. Now, I don't know what they were doing. Maybe we'll find out here. Like, is that ISIS or I don't know. What are you doing with terrorist stuff? Stay away from that, guys. And Shopify was saying that. Let me read their terms of service. This is Shopify. This is not PayPal. Hateful content. You may not use the services to promote or condone hate or violence against people based on race, ethnicity, color, national origin, etc., etc. Terrorist organization. You may not offer goods or services or post or upload materials that imply or promote support or funding of or membership in a terrorist organization. Okay, obviously. I'm going to skip ahead. There's a lot of detail here. So point 18. Before the middle of 2020, RageOn had not received notification of noncompliance with the AUP. Shopify's evidence is that historically it focused principally on responding to reports of violations Over the course of 2020, in response to a variety of highly publicized world events, Shopify adjusted its approach to the enforcement of several categories. Okay, I wonder what that's all about. Oh, here we go. In particular, Shopify noted that any content associated with QAnon, the Proud Boys, and the Boogaloo movement, as well as content depicting the Confederate battle flag, violated the terms. Now, I think that that's over the top. I mean, QAnon is a quirky worldview, but that is not terrorism. I think that Shopify is wrong here. The Confederate battle flag, that's not a terrorist group. That was an army of the South, an army that was defeated in the Civil War, but that is not terrorist. That's my own opinion. But my point through this whole thing, and I say again, Shopify won this argument, is that Shopify engaged with RageOn back and forth for months to say, hey, we don't like this, and we don't like that, and we don't like this, and we don't like that. Those are the things we won't do. These other things you're doing are fine. If you want to stay with us, that's our rules. And they could have haggled, and they could have gone back and forth. But you see the dialogue, the fair dealing, the good faith, that's what I'm talking about. I think that Shopify's wrong. QAnon. How's that any kookier than the cult of David Suzuki or Greta Thunberg? How's that any kookier than the absurd, Russia collusion theory? Or as Jake Tapper of CNN calls Justin Trudeau, Truanon. I love that. But listen, that's Shopify's view. I disagree with it, but that's their view. But do you see my point? Look at section 20. Look at section 20. Here we go. In the October 6th notice, Shopify provided a list of 21 links to products that it had removed from RageOn Shop, and specifically advised RageOn, please note that the reposting of the removed content or any other violation of Shopify's acceptable use principles may result in the suspension. So you see they provided a list of 21 links. In response to this notice, RageOn CEO Mike Krylibsky advised that RageOn is a user-generated content marketplace which does not upload designs its users do. He suggested working together with Shopify to prevent products that respond to keyword searches for offending content from appearing. Mr. Krylibsky asked Shopify to provide ideas on how RageOn and Shopify can mitigate this type of product uploads from random users. All right, well, that's an interesting response, but that showed he was happy to work with them too. I thought that was an interesting. He just really didn't want to hire someone to vet everything, because you can imagine RageOn. I don't know how big they are. Actually, I'd never heard of them before. Have you heard of them before this? No, but they could be huge. What do I know? So maybe they have 1,000 things a day. Is Mr. Krylibsky going to hire one or two staff and they're going to now, okay, well, is this Confederate? What's QAnon? So I like the thinking here. Let's find some keywords. Let's automate this. So, okay, I respect the answer from Mike Krylibsky. 22. Over the following months, Shopify continued to identify material on RageOn's website, including content associated with QAnon, the Proud Boys, Nazism. Well, I don't like that. The Boogaloo movement, I've heard of that. I don't know what that is. It makes me laugh when I hear that word, but I presume it's something very bad. I thought that was a kind of dance. As well as content depicting the Confederate battle flag. Well, listen, I'm not an American. I don't understand enough. What's the difference between a Confederate flag and a Confederate battle flag? I don't know. That's none of my business. But my point here is to show you see the back and forth. Do you see the good faith dialogue, both from Shopify and so far from Mike Krylibsky? On October 8th, Shopify noted RageOn of additional content, Nazi stuff, final notice. On October 21st, representatives from Shopify spoke with Mr. Krylibsky by telephone. During this call, Mr. Krylibsky was reminded that RageOn is responsible for all content, regardless if it was posted by third parties. On October 23rd, Shopify sent Mr. Krylibsky a follow-up email reiterating this. Do you see how hard they're trying? Now, I'm not saying I agree with their terms of censorship. I don't know what the Boogaloo Boys are. I don't know there's a Confederate flag, Confederate battle flag. But that's not the point. The point is they have their list of what they call contraband. And they say, you can't have this up there. So right or wrong, that's their list. I don't like the Nazi stuff. But they're telling Krylivsky and RageOn, these are the things. They're emailing him. They're phoning him. They're following up with him. Look at that effort they're going to save this guy. And I contrast that to PayPal after 6 years, more than $8 million just sending me a goodbye, John. What's that? A Dear John letter on Friday at 6:02 p.m. Is that what it's called, Dear John? On November 12, 2020, Shopify sent a notice to RageOn that another 35 products had been removed. On January 15th, Shopify sent another notice to RageOn. Like, how many notices is that? I lost count. I think we're at 6 or 7 interactions by now. And a phone call. 6 or 7 interactions, including a phone call. Boy, if only our enemies were that interlocutory. Is that the word? Look at that, using a big word when a small word will do it. I just criticized the judges for doing what I just did. On January 19th, RageOn wrote, saying they set out all the steps. They have a filter that would auto-detect the flags more than 70% of upload, remove 100 uploads each day, add 2 more employees whose primary goals are to monitor the site, add 70 keywords to its auto-detect system, permanently ban 10 users from the site, remove thousands of design violations. Wow. Okay, well, RageOn, that's a huge effort. Imagine hiring 2 full-time staffers to go through stuff, remove 100 uploads a day. I guess RageOn is really, really big. If you have 100 bad things a day, you must have 1,000 things, or thousands of things a day. I didn't realize how big it was. RageOn expressed that it wants to do everything it can to ensure the content shared on its platform does not violate Shopify's API. Okay, so I respect what Mike Krylivsky's doing. 2 days later, on January 21st, Shopify wrote to RageOn to reiterate that they had their final warning. On February 2nd, RageOn wrote to Shopify, advised that RageOn accepted the terms of Shopify's platform. He says he does not accept terms, expansion, blah. Legal counsel expressed that RageOn objects to Shopify's failure to perform its contractual obligations in good faith. Failure to assist it to filter out bad stuff. Maybe they weren't doing enough to help, but they certainly did something to help. So then they terminated that stuff, and then there was this lawsuit. They wanted an injunction. The issue, okay, look at paragraph 33. This is very interesting. I think this is important. When I say Shopify won and RageOn lost, let me clarify, because that was for an urgent injunction. That's a fancy way of saying, hey, judge, stop them from doing this while we later on then have the full hearing. Paragraph 33, the issue on this motion is whether RageOn should be granted an interim injunction directing Shopify to restore all its rights and privileges. The test for an interim injunction, they talk about it. So it's got to be, let me read that. You see the A, B, and C in section 34? Here's the test for whether or not a court's going to give you a speedy interim injunction. What that means is, judge, I don't have time for a trial 2 years from now. I need you to make a super quick order right now or I'm going to die. So the courts have a rule. I'll read the whole paragraph. The test for obtaining an interim or interlocutory injunction was established by the Supreme Court of Canada in a case called RJR McDonald versus Canada, in which was held that an injunction may be granted where the applicant establishes 3 things. Ready? A, there's a serious issue to be tried with respect to an infringement of the moving party's rights. I think there's a serious issue here. B, the moving party, that would be RageOn, will suffer, this is key, will suffer irreparable harm if an injunction is not granted. And C, the balance of convenience favors granting the relief sought. So A is there anything for real here? Is there something substantive? I think so. B, will RageOn be devastated in a way that can't be made up to them later? And then C, balance of convenience. I'm going to skip ahead because the judge is really going through the analysis here and we just don't have time for that. Let's skip ahead to 43. Has RageOn demonstrated that it has a strong prima facie case? Prima facie, you can see in Latin, that means first glance, first look, first face. Prima facie means, just by glancing at it, do you have a strong case on the merits? And I'm just skimming this right now. Paragraph 47, on the evidence before me, RageOn has failed to show that there is a strong likelihood that it will succeed. I'm just going to skip ahead. This is actually, and then skip ahead to 64. Has RageOn shown that it will suffer irreparable harm if an injunction is not granted? I'll look at paragraph 66. RageOn submits that if an injunction is not granted, it will suffer irreparable harm due to loss of business. RageOn contends that without Shopify's hosting and software, it has no ability to promote, sell, process orders, and manage its business or generate any revenue. According to RageOn, maintaining relationships day-to-day with creators and customers, as well as facilitating the link between creators and their customers, is vital for its business. And the harm that will result from lost creators and customers cannot adequately measured in damages. RageOn asserts that it stands to lose approximately $12,750 per day, as well as significant damage to its reputation in an intense and highly competitive industry. 67, in affidavit evidence given by Shopify in response, the opponent states that there is no reason to believe that RageOn could not continue its business from any number of e-commerce hosting platforms. I'm going to skip ahead to 72. Okay, 71 says, RageOn has failed to tender clear evidence, which is not speculative, showing that it will suffer irreparable harm. So you see the judge is not sympathetic for the test, but these are just the tests for the emergency injunction. This isn't the judge saying RageOn doesn't have a case. This is the judge saying, RageOn, I'm not going to give you an immediate order. If you want to sue, we'll do it in the slow motion way the courts are famous for. I'm not going to give you an immediate order. And then, has RageOn shown that the balance of convenience favors granting an injunction? I'm going to skip that because it's not even important. And then paragraph 77, we're done the case. For these reasons, RageOn's motion for interim injunctive relief is dismissed. Thanks very much for going through that. Here's my point. Justin and everyone else. I'm really just talking to Justin now. Justin, of course, our hardworking talents, the control desk. That was not to hear the whole case. That was RageOn saying, Judge, quick, you got to stop these guys. I can't wait for a trial 6, 12, 18 months from now. You got to stop them. They're going to put our company out of business. And the judge said, well, using the test in R.J.R. McDonald, do you have a real chance of success? If I don't give this to you now, are you dead? Like, can you be compensated later and balance the convenience? So I think that's all interesting, but the takeaway for me is the good behavior of Shopify in terms of communicating. I know a lot of people will disagree with Shopify's actual rules. I think banning QAnon stuff is just weird. Why? Like, it's just a belief system, contrarian, conspiratorial, but how is that hateful or terroristic? I don't know. But I'm setting that aside and I'm saying even if you disagree with them, And I just don't know enough about the Confederacy to know what the difference between the flags are. But let's put that aside, even though I find it quirky. By God, did they try? And again, I contrast that with what PayPal did with us. No explanation, no warning, no pointing to, like, you'll notice that Shopify said these 21 things, these 13 things, these 5 things that meet these, and actually Krylevsky of RageOn was saying, okay, can you give us the keywords? So they were really getting down to brass tacks, really getting granular in what exactly was the problem. Imagine, put up the PayPal letter to me again. The reason I took you through that, thank you for your patience, everybody, was to show you how Shopify deplatformed RageOn. And I don't like deplatforming. And I'm not glad Shopify deplatformed, but I'm just showing the difference. You can no longer do business with PayPal. Dear Ezra Levant, we have recently reviewed your PayPal account activity. What PayPal account activity? And determined that you are in violation of PayPal's acceptable use policy regarding your use of the PayPal product. What? Which? What? What did we do? What rule did we break? Just that one sentence is all you're saying. You literally, like we've done over 100,000 transactions with you. Which one was in violation? What did we do on our, we have, I don't know how many pages on our website. I'd have to check 30,000 pages. Which one broke the rule? We've published coming up on 20,000 videos. Which one broke the rule? We have recently reviewed your PayPal account activity and determined that you are in violation of PayPal's, and look at the wording here, look at the grammar. You violated PayPal's acceptable use policy regarding your use of the PayPal products. You're just repeating yourself. What do we do? What rule and what activity on our part? As a result, oh, you're done. So you're done describing it. As a result, your account has been permanently limited with no further ability to send or receive. So you're done talking about what happened? That one sentence there that says nothing? Scroll down. And it's just signed PayPal. And that link there, that's the user agreement. We appreciate your cooperation. Sincerely, PayPal. What a difference between this and Shopify. And again, I don't like the fact that Shopify deplatformed RageOn, but I'm just showing the difference between a shitty company like PayPal and one like Shopify that at least they were trying. My God, is PayPal a disgrace? That's nuts. And the thing is, they're a bank. They're not actually a registered bank in Canada, but they are in other jurisdictions. I checked. They're a bank in Australia. They're a bank in the EU. They are a financial services company in Canada. They're just not considered a bank. They're not a fractional reserve bank. They don't pay interest, whatever. I don't think they pay interest. Who treats a customer that way? Like, put aside the law and the regulations. Who treats a customer that way? 6:02 p.m. on a Friday night? You know, I have in my life fired dozens of people. And it's not a nice thing to do. It's a sign of failure on the part of the person you're firing, but also on yourself, because you're the one who hired them. You're the one who thought it would work. You're the one who obviously couldn't make it work, couldn't fix it. If you're firing someone, you failed too. I'd like to think that, and I'm trying to, when I fire people, I have the Yiddish word is Menschlichkeit, enough human nature to look them in the eye and tell them why. Even if they don't agree with me, even if they don't like it one bit, are you not a man? Are you not a man enough, and if they're in a different city, to phone them, don't email them, to phone them, to get on the phone and say it to them. And if you don't have the courage to get on the phone or to sit down with someone and say it to them, if you can't make eye contact when you're doing it, and we talked about eye contact the other day, if you can't make eye contact with someone when you're doing something to them, that tells me that you are not following your conscience Why do we not make eye contact with someone when our conscience is troubling us, when there's a discomfort there? If you are firing someone, look them in the goddamn eye and say, I'm firing you and I'm sorry and it didn't work and here's your severance or here's why. Shopify looked RageOn in the eye 10 times and said, guys, we're going to fire you if you don't fix this. Here's the 21 things you need to fix and here's why. And you can disagree. You can disagree with your boss that's firing you. You can say, boss, you got it wrong. Boss, you're running this company poorly. Boss, you're being unfair. And you might be right. But Shopify at least had the balls and the heart and the guts and the head to look RageOn in the eye, to phone them, to write them, to email them, and say, guys, we are going to fire you if you don't fix these 21 specific things that break these 2 specific rules. And the cowards at PayPal send an email at 6:02 p.m. unsigned, no response, no particularization. Go to saverebelnews.com. So I put up this website yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. saverebelnews.com. Scroll down. And you can see that email. You see that email there? That's the email. You can no longer do business with PayPal. So that's the full email there if you want to eyeball it. And then a little lower, yeah, and can you open that thing up? Now that's a letter that our Dream Team lawyers sent to PayPal. Like I said, 6:02 p.m. on Friday, we get that. No, you got to fire someone, look them in the eye. I have been fired. You know, I've been fired before. It's not good. But, you know, you get over it. I've been fired. I was fired from the Edmonton Sun. May 3rd, 2021. 2. Jason Young, Head of Legal and Corporate Secretary, PayPal Canada, 661 University Avenue. Dear Mr. Young, permanent removal of Ezra Levant, Mr. Levant, to you and Rebel News Network Limited from PayPal. Pump up the volume for my old eyes. We are the lawyers for Mr. Levant and Rebel News regarding the above noted matter and write to you on an urgent basis. Please kindly confirm receipt of this correspondence and contact me at the above coordinates to arrange an urgent discussion regarding this matter. On the afternoon of Friday, April 30th, 2021, Mr. Levant and Rebel News received separate identical emails from PayPal without prior notice, warning, explanation, or right of appeal. And then we have the text of the email there. Our clients have processed tens of thousands of PayPal transactions, millions of dollars, without issue or incident. Mr. Levant has been using PayPal for more than a decade. Rebel News has used it throughout its 6-year lifespan, and thus they were blindsided by the suggestion that it had violated PayPal's acceptable use policy, the policy. In fact, PayPal had referred to our clients as preferred partners. We have reviewed the policy with our clients and do not find a basis for this decision. In brief, this must be an error. Mr. Levant's account has not been in active use for years. Further, Rebel News has not used the PayPal service for activities that, inter alia, that's Latin for among other things, violate any law, statute, ordinance, or regulation related to transactions involving narcotics, steroids, certain controlled substances or other products that present a risk to consumers, drug paraphernalia, cigarettes, items that encourage, promote, facilitate, or instruct others to engage in illegal activity. Stolen goods, including, you see this is there's a whole list, scroll down, the whole list. This is the list, this is a cut and paste from their acceptable use policy. Accordingly, our clients are requesting an urgent conference with your team so this error may be corrected and this matter may be resolved in a timely, amicable manner. That comes from the Latin amici, I like you, you're friendly to me. We want to resolve this in a timely manner. Con amici. That's close to Latin. That's Italian. Yours very truly, Aaron Rosenberg, partner, Relaw LLP. So that letter went out on Monday, and we have had no email. We have had no phone call. And he sent out that same letter to PayPal USA and to the acceptable use policy officer. I think he sent it to 3 different people, 4 different people. He made phone calls. And this is what the kids call ghosting. They're ghosting us. Look at me. You think that's ever happened to me before? You think I've ever been ghosted before? Look at this piece of man right here. No, it's outrageous, of course. I'm joking, of course. But although, and that goes to bad practice. If you have a contract, millions of dollars flowing through it, seriously, close to $9 million. I'd have to dig up the exact amount. 6 years, preferred client, never a problem. And you dump them on a Friday night at 6:02. You're not a man. You don't look me in the eye and say, "Hey, Levant, you got this wrong." How about do a Shopify? As you got these 21 things that are just too far for us. I don't even know what they could be. Are we selling narcotics? Like what even? And then when we reach out with that friendly letter, look at that letter, amici to, friend to friend. He wasn't just yours truly. He was yours very truly. There's yours, Aaron Rosenberg. Yours truly. Yours very truly. I mean, that's truly. That's a friendly letter. And imagine being a company, a financial services company, a bank really, and saying, no, I don't have to respect not only Rebel News as a merchant, but what about our thousands of users? What are their rights? Our thousands of PayPal users, many of whom we encourage to become PayPal customers so they could do business with us, they're cut off from us too, including the recurring monthly donors. Hundreds of people who signed up to PayPal to make it. Now, how are we going to fill that hole? We were on track to bill $1 million this year through PayPal. That's $1 million hole in this company. That's half our payroll. Now, you know me. I am loquacious. Some might say I'm pleonastic. And yet, even though I'm voluble and exhortative, I managed to cork it for 4 days. I didn't say a word about it. Did you hear me talk about this in public? Not in public. In private, I did kvetch just a little bit. So this happened on Friday night. We sent the lawyer's letter on Monday. I was quiet Monday. I was quiet Tuesday. I was quiet Wednesday. Because I thought, okay, maybe it's just a misunderstanding. Maybe it's just one of these glitches. Maybe it's just a little whoopsie. Maybe it's just a whoopsie daisy. No, I'm not that dumb. So yesterday, we put up a video in which we said enough is enough. Listen, I'm joking around a bit, I'm having some fun, but these guys are coming to kill us. And we have violated, we don't sell narcotics, we don't sell guns, we're a news agency. And who the hell is some financial services company to cut us off because they don't like the cut of our jib? Which I presume is what I have no idea what their beef is, they won't tell us, unlike Shopify, which particularized it for the folks at RageOn. I have no idea what we did wrong. I showed you, they have one sentence. You've broken our terms of acceptable use by using it in an unacceptable way. Yeah, that's called a tautology. So what do we do wrong? I don't know. I presume it's our politics. What else could it be? We're not selling narcotics here. Yeah, I'm not, you're not. That's all I know. No, I got a couple folks here saying no. So I assume it's politics. So hey guys, if your credit card can now censor you, how about your mortgage company? Hey guys, no mortgage for you. You can't live. How about your landlord? No, you can't live here. How about your doctor? No, I'm not going to give you medicine because I don't like your politics. How about your electricity company? How about your natural gas company, your sewer company, your water? We're going to cut off your water to your house because we don't like your politics. Actually, it wouldn't even be like that. We're going to cut off that water to your house because you did something unacceptable. What did we do wrong? You did something very unacceptable. Can I just reiterate that? Yeah, you said that, mate. What exactly did we do wrong? Well, you know what you did wrong. Well, actually, no, I don't. What did we do wrong? And what activity did we do wrong? And what rule did we break? Well, look at the list of possible rules. You mean the one that said no selling knives? Yeah, we didn't sell knives. The one that said no selling cigarettes? Yeah, we didn't sell cigarettes. So what was it made? You know. No, I don't know. And my lawyer sent you a very friendly letter, yours very truly, asking what you didn't tell us. Do you think that's acceptable for a bank to act that way? Well, here's the thing. I haven't been paying attention in the last couple hours because I spent the last 51 minutes with you. But we announced this news yesterday around 5 p.m. And so far, the only news agency I've seen, could you hop on Twitter and tell me if is Russia Today. Now, maybe others have caught up to it. Can you, I sent you that link. So look at that, Russia Today. You know what Russia Today is? That is a state broadcaster for the Russian Federation. They're coming to kill us. Canada's Rebel News canceled by PayPal without notice, founder says. Can you pump it up? I'll read the first sentence. Rebel News co-founder Ezra Levant announced the payment processor PayPal has canceled their account without an explanation. The Canadian outlet has been critical of the COVID-19 lockdowns and the government of PM Justin Trudeau. Quote, look, this isn't a mistake. It's a cancel culture attack on the largest independent news agency in Canada. It's censorship, Levant announced on Thursday in a fundraising appeal for legal fees to sue PayPal. They're finally coming to kill us, the Rebel News account tweeted. And then they have our little Twitter tweet embedded there, and then they have a little more stuff, and then they have another story about Rebel News in Montreal, and then scroll down, and then they have something about Gab being canceled, and then Bob's your uncle. So what's my point there? Isn't it weird that Vladimir Putin's state broadcaster, RT, Russia Today, wrote a pretty straight story, like there was really no opinion there. It's just, here's what happened yesterday according to Ezra Levant, and here's what he said. That's just straight news. Like there wasn't one jot of opinion in there. Did you detect anything pro or con? No, there was no pro or con. It was just, here's what happened yesterday. This guy said that. Here's a quote from what he said. We're out. Frankly, that could have been written in 15 minutes, right? Do you see anything in the CBC, CTV, Global, Postmedia? I haven't. Now maybe it's come in the last hour while I'm sitting here. Isn't it weird that I understand we're right-wing and we criticize other media. I get it. But if PayPal had cut off, who's the worst? If PayPal had cut off Canadaland or National Observer or what's some really dumb, BuzzFeed, I'd say, what are you doing cutting off BuzzFeed? They're idiots. Oh, they're gone. Are they still around, BuzzFeed? Yeah, they bought Huffington Post, right. I'd say, what are you doing cutting them off? I agree they're idiots, but what are you doing cutting them off? But I think our critics on the left can't bring themselves to say that. Anyways, so that's one of the reasons why we haven't had our chats, like our payment chats. And then we have some crypto chats from the Odyssey platform. I think, okay, the last one there, Tobias, is your Menschlichkeit that keeps me coming back. Here's the 2020 news on that judge in Weimar I mentioned the other day. Oh, thank you very much. You told me a judge was arrested for making a ruling against mandatory masks. I'm going to read that. Thank you for that. And I'm glad that my use of the word Menschlichkeit was right, because that's a big word, isn't it? M Bumpy 107 on Super U and Zero Trolls. Okay, hand. Okay. I have been trying to log into Super U today. I think it is working out. Okay, great. Because I was trying to log in. Super U is one of my big hopes that Super U will just really do a great job. They are, like I said earlier, they're like the infant. You got Rumble that's like a teenager. You got Odyssey that's like a toddler. And Super U is really new. Justin just sent me the link. I'm trying to connect. I'm actually having some trouble connecting to it. But although 150 people watching, the chat's very lively. For some reason, I'm not getting in there quickly here. Right now on Odyssey, there's 77 people, and on Rumble, there's 1,523 people, and I actually haven't even loaded the censorship site, YouTube. I don't know how many people are watching on that. We'll just take a quick look. So the story of that is that there's over 1,000 people watching right now, 1,256. So we got between all systems, we're close to 3,000. And again, there's a lesson there that there's life after YouTube, and I think there will be life after PayPal. But listen, YouTube is an editorial kind of place. It's all about discussion, conversation, video, words, images. So their terms of service have very specific bans on certain things. The reason we were suspended, they say, I think it's a fig leaf of an excuse, is because I played a short clip from Donald Trump in January. I played it in January. So they used that as an excuse to take us down for a week. But at least that was in their rules. I think they were applying it falsely. I think they were just using it as an excuse. But at least that's in their rules. PayPal is not an editorial platform. Their expertise is not in words and pictures. They're bankers. Like, shut up and do the banking. If I want your opinion on something, I'll ask you about banking things, but how about you don't tell me what I say on my news channel, because it's none of your damn business. Banker, go do your banking. And by the way, your banking is doing very well. PayPal has done enormously well during the lockdown. Like Jeff Bezos, they've gotten even richer. Their market cap is $300 billion. How about you just how about just go and count your money, banker? And if you want to tell me what I can or can't say, I don't really care what your opinion is. Let's go to SaveRebelNews.com. I am going to court. This morning, I instructed our dream team of lawyers to file a lawsuit against PayPal for breach of contract, for interference with economic relations, and for any other torts or statutory breaches that fit the facts. And I also want to know who induced this breach of contract. Now, we're crowdfunding to help us. Scroll down a tiny bit more. So you see there, help fund our lawsuits against PayPal. Now, that's lawsuits plural. I don't know why it's plural. Maybe it's a premonition. And that's just a shade under 50 grand, isn't it? That's pretty healthy. Thank you, everybody. I really think it is going to cost us 150 grand to sue PayPal. You saw that in the Shopify versus RageOn, Shopify sent 3 lawyers. Like, whoa, like O.J. Simpson only had 4 lawyers, right? So I think PayPal, they're going to send all the lawyers. But you know, David and Goliath, I'm betting on our guys. And then go to the other, so that was for folks who want to help us sue, but there's another one. We got this hole in the side of our boat now, because like I say, we were on course to do $1 million in 2021 with PayPal, and a lot of folks are what they call recurring donors. You know what I mean? When you give someone your credit card and every month they bill it, that's like really normal. It's really ubiquitous. A lot of subscription services are that way, right? Like Netflix. You're not paying for Netflix all in advance. You pay every month. You put your credit card in once and you forget about it. Imagine the damage to Netflix if Visa suddenly cut off Netflix. Well, now Netflix has to contact all those people who were paying by Visa, explain what happened, tell them not to worry, not to freak out, and get them to find another payment method and come back to them again. What an enormous harm to the company, right? That's what they just did to us. I have no idea if we'll be able to recapture those folks. So I'm worried that that's going to leave a hole in the side of our boat. So how much, we're trying to fill that gap. How much have folks chipped in for that? So we got just under 50 grand on the lawsuit side, and we got just under 80 grand on the fill the hole in our boat side. So between the two, that's $130,000 that our good people have chipped in less than one day. I find that incredibly affirming and reassuring, because the whole point of being deplatformed by financial bullies like PayPal is that you no longer have the ability to operate. And as you know, our team is going full tilt these days. It's a fairly well-oiled machine. I'm not going to say well-oiled because there's still some squeaky parts, but it's a pretty well-oiled machine. We're doing great content. We got young talent. We got new on-camera faces. We've got a lot of people have come up through the ranks, like young Efron joined us right out of school. Now he's our head of video. Mocha joined us. He was a colleague, classmate of Efron. Now he's our chief videographer. We're hiring these young talents that really are stretched. Lincoln J, he's now in the UK doing reporting on the ground. He started with us pretty junior too. So I love seeing all these young guys just spread their wings and do things in their own style. And I think our viewers like that too. They like the new faces. You can see some of the faces behind me. Adam Sos just joined us in the last month in Calgary. He's doing a great job. Catherine K, I don't want to mispronounce her last name. I got to practice that. I'm sorry, Catherine. But she's joined us. She's doing great. Well, this guy, he's a fan favorite. He actually is the fan favorite. You know, he won the Rebel News Viewer's Choice Award. Let me scooch over a bit. My personal favorite, I won't lie. Sheila Gunn-Reid, our chief reporter. Who's there? Okay, those are just generic pictures. David Menzies. Absolute old faithful, young faithful. He is a huge, Justin's poking fun. David is great. That's my tie. He keeps wearing my ties. I swear to God, he wears I got this tie rack back here. Now I have never David wears my ties. Now, I mean, I suppose I don't care. It's not like he's borrowing my toothbrush. But why is he wearing my tie? Now, they're not bad tie. That's a very plain tie. That's a tie a guy can wear. He can look sharp enough, but you don't remember that tie the next day, right? That's how a man should dress. Drea Humphrey. Oh, she's been so wonderful. She, breath of fresh air. When her very first video, I said, did you have a secret career as a broadcaster beforehand that I didn't know about? Because she's so good. She's such a natural. And there's just me doing something weird. I don't even know what's going on in that picture there. I got a sandwich. I think. Is that a sandwich? That's outside the theater name, or that's a megaphone, or as David calls it, a megahorn. Oh, that's his finger? I'm not holding like a sandwich? Are you sure? I'm just joking around. No, there was no sandwich there. I know what that is. Are we missing any talent? Because we could certainly take down the one of me with my sandwich, and we could put a talent there. Yeah, let's put a talent. Yeah, let's put a talent there. We don't need me there and me here. Yeah, let's put a talent up there. All right, I'm joking around a bit, but no, I love our young people. I love the new team. I like their energy. I like their visual creativity, their digital native, the kids who grew up with, in the era of the cell phone and digital media, social media. So they're not like me, an old guy who's had to learn these things. They grew up with it. And so they have a different style. They have a different aesthetic style. And I thought it was really fun when Lincoln J, who looks a little bit like a skateboarder, went to cover that skateboard story. In fact, Lincoln's out there in the UK. Is Lincoln, let's just show people where he is. So we sent Lincoln to the UK for a variety of projects. And the first thing I want to tell you is that the quarantine's only 5 days. Not 14 days. Why is it 14 days here in Canada if it's only 5 days in the UK? Same virus, right? So why is it 5 there and 14 here? Science! Or is it really that Justin Trudeau just doesn't want Canadians traveling because then they would see that other places are getting back to normal? Just his 4-minute scene setter. So he did the 5-day quarantine and he's out of it now and he's doing work around the UK. And it looks like he's having a blast. I'm sort of jealous. I used to go over there every month. I haven't left the country since March 2020. But it's 106, but if we have it handy, I would like to show you Lincoln's, we call it a scene setter. So you arrive on the scene, okay, who am I? What am I doing here? What are you going to see in the days ahead? What am I doing? And this is actually his last hours in quarantine before he was free. But even from his quarantine hotel, he could tell that things were different. And see for yourself. Well, we don't have the audio, but what a handsome lad he is. All right, we'll have to try again another time with the audio, but let me tell you what he said.
Every day, the patio across the street has been full every night with customers, some even walking in and out without wearing masks. Here's some other footage of what the city looks like. It's pretty much back to normal, and in 2 weeks' time, it will be almost completely back to how it was before the pandemic. It's not only in the UK that we see life returning to normal. Many places in America are also on the same page with opening back up, with states like Texas and Florida opened up 100%. I'm here in the UK partly to investigate their approach to the pandemic, but also to catch up with our British fight the fine cases and simply just to show you what it's like in other places. Perhaps one of the reasons Justin Trudeau is cracking down on international travel and making it impossible to leave the country is because if we actually went to places like Florida, Texas, or here in the UK, we would see that we wouldn't have to live under lockdown, and other countries just like us are moving past it.
You can talk about it. You want to talk
Canada's right now.
Canada's juiced.
They're so locked down, and I don't understand why they think that's good. I don't understand why they think that's the solution.
Yeah.
You can't do what you're doing where you have fucking Gestapo pulling people over for your papers. Why are you out? Why are you out?
Anyhow, link, that's just a little clip of Joe Rogan saying what's going on up there, and he's so right. So yeah, Lincoln's over there, and I think he's doing a great job. Well, look, it's 1:08. Here's my news. PayPal deplatformed us. It felt political because it felt sneaky. That said, I held my tongue for almost a week while our lawyer tried in good faith to fix it. You can see PayPal's sneaky letter to me at saverebelnews.com. You can see our very truly letter in reply on that same page. We are suing. I gave the final go-ahead to our lawyers this morning. I hope to file the lawsuit next week. The lawsuit is not just for our own benefit. I believe the lawsuit, given the facts on the ground, has a real chance of winning and setting a precedent. The reason I took you through the Shopify versus RageOn injunction application is to show you how Shopify, in good faith, worked for 4 months with RageOn before nuking it. Again, I'm not agreeing with Shopify's terms of service. I'm just showing that they tried, they talked, they communicated, they were particular, they gave them a chance to fix things. Like, they really tried. The resolution of that case was that the court wouldn't give RageOn an immediate injunction, whether or not they sue. Frankly, I don't think they will. It's too slow motion. But I am in no rush with PayPal. They've killed us. They've shot their bullet at us. They've nuked us. They've destroyed our account. We've tried to get it back on track. We've tried in a friendly, informal way with phone calls and emails. So that's not working. So we're going to hunker down for the long haul. And it looks like our viewers will support that legal action. And I would like, if PayPal won't talk to us, if they're ghosting us, I'd like them to come to court and talk to a judge. Or maybe they think they're above that also. Maybe they're just a bunch of international bullies at their headquarters in Silicon Valley who don't think they have to listen to anybody. But here in Canada, we do have the rule of law, I think, and we don't particularly like financial institutions bullying people with political views on the left or the right. And from a consumer affairs point of view, we don't really appreciate banks punishing citizens for having legitimate legal political opinions. That's not the bank's place, especially not a foreign bank meddling in Canadian political affairs or journalistic affairs. And maybe the lawyers at PayPal think they're very, very clever by not engaging in a collaborative, constructive, good faith way with our lawyer. But I think that if so, that approach has backfired on them, because I think it shows how high-handed they are, how bad faith they are, and how they really don't think they're answerable to anyone other than their own politics. I'm a former lawyer myself, and in addition to the black letters of a contract, there's also common law that accretes to any contract. For example, you can't sign a contract that's unconscionable. You can't sign, for example, a contract for an assassin. I'm just making up an extreme example. That contract's not enforceable because it's an abhorrent contract that's inherently illegal because you just can't. I guess what I'm saying is the common law applies even to written contracts. And a reasonable interpretation and being reasonable and being fair is actually, believe it or not, part of contracts. And I don't believe that PayPal was fair in its substantive enforcement of the contract. And I think any court will look at the procedural fairness and say, why did you guys not even give them a warning like Shopify did? Why did you guys not even talk to them? Why did you not even give them information about what they did wrong? And when they came back to you friendly, why did you ignore their lawyer for a week? I just think that looks really, really bad as a man, as a person, as a boss who's had to do unpleasant things like fire people. And I think a judge, I sure hope so, is going to say, I don't care that you're a $300 billion company. I don't care that you're based in America and you think you're, above any national law. If you're doing business in Canada, you have to conduct yourselves ethically and legally. And I think we're going to have a real chance to win. And if you agree with me, go to saverebelnews.com. We're over 80 on the first fundraiser, which is for helping us plug the hole. That looks like 83,000 there. And on the lawsuit part, looks like we got 52,000. So even just in this live chat, we've gone up a few grand just while we're here. So if you guys want to help us, please do. You can just go to saverebelnews.com, and there's the two different donation options: help us recoup our loss, and help us fight in court. So whichever is your style, it's like the two fists with a tat: love and hate. You love us, help us patch the hole. You hate PayPal, help us sue them. Whatever. We got something for everyone. That's what Ecclesiastes. There's a time for love and a time for hate. Well, my friends, it's 1:14. It's a pleasure being with you. I just want to close with a personal observation on today's story, on the story of Rebel News, and indeed the story of my life dating back to when I was a teenager. People say, Ezra, you're looking for trouble. You're a troublemaker. You're looking for fights. And I want to tell you the truth. I did not ask for this fight. Do you think I was looking at 6:02 on a Friday night for a fight with PayPal? I was out walking the dog. No, Ezra, you're looking for fights. You're a troublemaker. No, I wasn't. I was on Friday night. I was walking the dog. I did not bring this fight. Did I bring this fight? I did not bring this fight. I don't think so. Did I bring the fight with YouTube? I did not bring the fight with YouTube. Did I bring these fights? I did not bring these fights. But do you think I am made of the stuff that will just roll over for these fights? I am not. I have to stand up because I want to do journalism and I want to do civil liberties work. And these folks are trying to stop me. I am not picking a fight with PayPal. Why would I pick a fight with one of my favorite vendors who has done more than $8 million worth of revenue with it. Am I going to pick a fight with my best friend? That's crazy. I didn't pick a fight here. But do you think I'm going to roll over when they pick a fight with me? No, I will not. I'm going to say goodbye because I got work to do. Thanks, everybody. Do we have a dog video? One more hyper chat, and this is hyper chat is what they call the super chats over on Odyssey, and it's paid in crypto, which is pretty cool. History Club World. Follow History Club World on Instagram, your hub for educational content. All right. I always am trying to get an education. Never too old to learn, especially in this whole crypto thing. The number one piece of advice I got, like we sent out an email last night about this, and I read a lot of the replies. Justin, what do you think the number one reply was? Crypto. This problem is solved by crypto. Trouble is, not all our supporters are familiar with or comfortable with crypto. Remember, it took a long time for people to get comfortable just using their credit card online. Like, it's not too long ago. Now, the younger generation, they grew up, But I should tell you that it wasn't until fairly recently, last 10 years, that people, really the last 10 years ago, it started to become more common. But I tell you, online banking, digital banking, give your credit card online, give your personal information online, bank on, that took 20 years to get people comfortable with. It just did, of a certain generation. So now, crypto, what's crypto? Where is it? Can I see it? Where is it stored? Where does it come from? A lot of basic questions. So to get our folks who are comfy with credit cards online to be comfy with crypto, that's a real educational process. But crypto is the answer. It's not the total answer, and it's not the immediate answer. But let me leave you with one word. Actually, I'm not going to say the word. I'm not going to say the word till I get the URL. I'll say the word on Monday. My friends, we're done for today. Thanks very much for being here. Remind me to say the word on Monday. We got a dog video here. Well, I'll say goodbye now. Here's a dog. That's from my day.